Welcome home, Raiders. This week, Highmaul opens, and we've got the lowdown. We've got our first round of class balancing, and we'll check out the latest stats on WoW. All that and a lot more. This is CTR 163.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the world of Warcraft.
The Convert to Raid Command Center, Podcast Power Station, Podcast Power Center. You could combine them any type of way you want to. It's fine. Today is November 30th, 2014. It is now 11:14 a.m. Central Standard Time. And thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I am the host here. And welcome. And the players are here as well. Let's go to serene Seattle. You know him as Darius. Hey, buddy.
Oh, it's very much rainy Seattle here. Actually, it was snowy Seattle yesterday. It snowed here.
Wow.
Just to let everybody know I'll be moving. I'm done with that.
Right. Of course you are. Well, let's go where it never snows. To La La Land, to Hollyweird, California, to the Funky Monk. It's Coltrane.
Fortune cookie say.
Oh, no.
Taran steak jokes are rarely well done.
Oh my god.
I like how it started, though. I thought you were just going to end it with Torrens steak joke. And then that's it. That's the end.
Taran steak joke.
Fill in the blank.
No.
Whatever your Torrens steak joke is, let's just do that right here.
Well, they're rarely well done.
I just
see,
like
it's
the open.
like rare and well done. You see the brilliance?
The open was better than the finish on that
come
one. I thought.
You're out of your mind. Well, that was sent in from, and I got to make sure I get this right. Rolia Leah on Etrig, daughter of Alyssal from CTR Mobus.
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Isn't that great?
Cool.
Yeah, so thank you very much. And that was sent to me like 6 months ago.
Right.
So I apologize again for how long it took. But thank you very much for the fortune cookie submission. It was glorious. Lots of 10 out of 10.
The open was really great.
1 million bongos.
The open was really great, and I thought it should have just stopped right there, and then that would have been like the best fortune cookie ever if it would have just stopped right there.
Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy, Crane. Crazy,
but it continued. Well, hi, fellas.
Hello.
Another week down in this new expansion.
Yes.
Something that I'm calling Warlords of Draining Chores. With all the Garrison stuff going on.
It's interesting.
So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on this week with you fellas. And Darius, let's start with you. What's been going on with you this week?
Lots of chores, as you put it. I didn't realize that. Although I send my followers out on chores, they're really just kind of sending me out. So, am I the follower or they?
I think it kind of works both ways.
Interesting.
That's very philosophical.
It's like a haiku or something.
Am I playing warlords or are they playing warlords? Which one of us is the NPC?
That is way too deep for this show. I think. So Garrisons, you've been doing those. What else have you been up to?
Just running a lot of dungeons, gearing up, trying to get both my healing and DPS set geared. I started leveling another tune, started leveling my druid, trying to get that through. I'm doing different stories this time, where I'm trying to see different things the second time through, which is a lot of fun. Right.
What are you going as for your druid? I mean, what's
Guardian?
Guardian. Okay.
Guardian. Yeah, I'm doing more than enough damage as Guardian to be fine.
Just hit thrash.
Yeah, pretty much. Just hit thrash.
It's kind of like
all the things, right?
For Boomkin, it was just dot and run. I mean, it was essentially like leveling an affliction lock back in the day, where you just dot and dash. Morse code. It's the Morse code way of doing it.
I thought they had fixed. Was it Starfall? The AOE for for druids where they kind of walk in and it used to pull the entire instance. I thought they had fixed that. But we had one recently in Everbloom that he did that and basically pulled the entire place.
The way that it's supposed to work, and I can't remember if it's a glyph or not. I think it might be a glyph. But it's supposed to only hit those that you've dotted that have either Sunfire or
That's not
Moonfire.
glyphed it because there's a lot of trash in Everbloom.
Yeah.
This guy walked in. I think the first mob he did that, and just 30 or 40 things came at us.
Yeah, there is a glyph according to the chat room. So, so that's you make sure if you're running dungeons or doing LFR or raiding or whatever, make sure that you have that glyph available.
Yeah,
there is a lot of trash in Everbloom. I got to give you that. There's a lot in there.
A lot.
Those little plants, and you don't even really see them.
No.
They're on the ground. But when you run over them, then you see them.
Oh, yeah, then they're there.
You see all of them.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's that's no good. That's no good. Colt, what's been going on in your world of Warcraft?
Well, in life, there are moments of greatness.
Okay.
Moments of epic win.
Okay.
Those times when you can say to your buddies, that was incredible. And then there are moments when you do the challenge mode daily for Upper Blackrock Spire. And I have to tell you, it's as if I was talking to a hot dog eating champion who then turned around and farted in my face. Because it was horrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst run I have ever done in all of World of Warcraft ever. It almost took 4 hours to get through Upper Blackrock Spire.
Ouch.
In the challenge mode daily. It was like 3.5 coming up on 4. And that's with people using flasks. It was insane. It was unbelievable. And I thought I was alone here, but the chat room is saying that Upper Blackrock Spire is the worst. And I have to agree. It was the absolute worst. It's insane. It's like a mini raid. Yeah. These bosses are insane in Upper Blackrock Spire. But after 3.5 hours, and shout out to the group, like we really hung in there. I mean, we wiped like 50, 60 times and we just kept banging our heads against this thing. And it was insane. Like we started at like 9:30 in the morning and finished at like 3 or something. I don't know. I'm terrible at math, but it was like the afternoon when we got done.
Right.
So anyway, it was insane. But at the end, we were victorious. We did clear the challenge mode daily for Upper Blackrock Spire, and the gear that I got were the worst possible stats for a Windwalker monk.
Lovely.
It was covered in mastery. In fact, it is like double mastery. It was like, oh, you don't like mastery? Here's mastery, and then here's some more mastery filled with some mastery. So, but I'm going to hold on to it because I think Brewmaster likes themselves some mastery. The old Windwalker, not so much. Don't like the thing in there. So, yeah, it was insane. It was insane. But we got through it, and it was good, and we all banded together as one, and we were able to. But I got to admit, man, towards the end there, I was even saying, I got to admit, I'm starting to lose steam here.
Right.
I mean, when you're 3.5 hours into this Upper Blackrock Spire. But I hear that's one of the hardest ones. I hear that's one of the hardest ones.
It should be like the hardest ones. Darius, have you done a lot of challenge modes?
No, I haven't. I've attempted, I think, Grimrail, and didn't finish it. This was like maybe the first or second day though that I was 100, and then I started hearing stories exactly as Colt's, where it would take 3 or 4 hours, and you would end up with one piece of loot that was either only marginally better than something you've already gotten, or is way worse. Or as a lot of people are having happen, you're getting almost the exact same helm that drops in Molten Core, which I spent 3 or 4 hours in to drop. So it hasn't been the time and reward ratio is not in our favor at the moment.
Right. That's kind of the way that it is with me and Molten Core, because okay, I'll tell you the story about what happened with Molten Core, because it was a journey, my friends. It was a real journey.
Yes.
This thing. It was crazy. So we got together, CTR Guild, banded together.
Woo!
And we took it on, all 40 guys from CTR, and we went in on Saturday night. Now, Saturday night was a fairly busy night for a while. But we went in there. We went all the way up to...
Yeah!
So we made it all the way up to Major Domo, and we got him down. Well, he went away, and he opened up Rags. We were running to Rags, and this happened to a lot of people. And what ended up happening? Crash.
Oh.
So it was the worst. We had a crash, and people were being able to. The server was up, it was down, it was up, it was down. I mean, seriously, it was up for like 10 seconds, and then it was down again.
Right.
And so for the next half hour, 45 minutes, I was streaming the whole thing. For the next half hour, 45 minutes, it was up and down, up and down. We heard all sorts of stories about, DDoS attacks and whatever, and things going on. And thanks to somebody who was actually not in the guild, who was a cross-realm raider with us, we actually got back into Molten Core. We actually got back because of somebody that was not on Airy Peak. They're cross-realm raider. They saved our cookies on that one. So we were able to invite everybody back, get them all to Rags. We had to skip some trash because it was starting to respawn. Fun. So you actually have to like swim through lava. It's totally cool. And we managed to get back and down Rags. And it only took I think it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. But it's so cool to go through that with a guild run. And thanks to somebody who was not even in the guild, and I don't know their name, I'm sorry. They were a cross-realm person, and they saved our bacon on that one. So
That's awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Holy cow.
It was a great night.
That's great. So,
except for the crashing. That was not good.
did anybody get the enchant or the pet or anything?
Yeah, Jules got the pet, I think. I didn't see anybody get the enchant. But there was a big group of us, so
that's awesome.
Lots of loot flying about.
That big giant molten core mount.
Yeah, the core hound mount, man. That thing is pretty sweet. I think I've also been leveling up my hunter and having a ton of fun with a hunter right now. It's so much. I'm like reliving the days of when I started. What?
You have a hunter?
Yeah, a hunter named Zug.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Go figure. Go figure.
There's just an imaginary name that we just called you.
So I'm gonna summon the core hound pet that I have, and then the little core hound, and then I'm gonna have the core hound hunter pet, and then I'll be riding on the core hound mount. See, that's the way that works. And I'm just gonna go. That's the way I'm gonna do my Draenor experience from now on.
There it is. Done. Good to go. Yeah. And hunters seem to be doing pretty well. I was in a 5-man with Wyatt Orc, and he was pulling some deeps, man. He was doing good.
Yeah, I think he went. I think he went to Marksman, which is great to see that that's back. It's I mean, all last expansion, nobody was touching it really, and now it seems like things are kind of evening out a little bit. It's kind of nice. I've been leveling as survival just because I like it a lot.
Right.
And
well, I've heard that marksman's great as long as you don't have to move.
Right.
So fortunately, in these raids, you never have to move.
No.
So we should be good to go.
No.
There's no movement whatsoever in these raids.
As I understand it, the way that the buff works is you can move for a few seconds, but then you have to stand still for a little bit, and then.
Gotcha.
And
so you get increased damage by standing still. Is that what it is? For
more than it's either 3 seconds or 6 seconds or something like that. So the more you stand still, the better your deeps is gonna be.
Gotcha.
So, but you don't have to be total turret like the arcane mage back in the day.
Yeah,
back in Kata, right? Was that Kata or was
those days?
Was that Cataclysm when you had to stand on the little thing? No, that was Heart of Fear days, wasn't it?
Yeah. The old Rune of Power.
Yeah,
but they expanded the rune. The rune's bigger now, so that definitely helps.
Good.
It used to be this tiny little saucer that you would have to teeter on and do your deeps, but now it's much nicer. So
I still remember those when back in the beta when they introduced those. And all the mages were throwing those on the ground. I was like, oh man, playing a priest? I had no idea. So I kept avoiding them, thinking they were a mechanic, something not to stand in. Well, I still remember people the first time I haloed as a priest, people jumping over the halo because they thought it was a mechanic.
Exactly.
Oh man! And now we've got some new cool spell effects as well, like Defile for DKs. That's so cool that they got Defile. That's awesome.
It's great.
I love it. All right, well, let's talk a little bit of WoW. What do you say? Now, first of all, I wanted to bring up one thing. We didn't mention it last week, I don't think, but Warcraft Devs on Twitter. It's at Warcraft Devs is your new stop for all things development. So all big announcements. I just wanted to let everybody know at Warcraft Devs. That's going to be your place to get answers on what's going on with the game, and you can even ask questions there and stuff like that. Of course, you can still do the more personal way by talking to, Ian and Celestalon and all those guys one-on-one if you want to. But Warcraft Devs, that's your place to go.
It's all wrapped up into one. In fact, I've got a question for at Warcraft Devs.
Yeah,
at Warcraft Devs in Ashran. The alchemy supply person, can we please add crystal vials?
Ooh.
Please!
Yeah, you're right.
It says alchemy supplies, yet they don't have alchemy supplies. So at Warcraft Devs, can we please add crystal vials to the alchemy supply NPC?
Just make sure to tweet that right now.
I've audio tweeted it.
Right.
All right, there we go.
So yeah, you're right though.
Tweeted.
That's weird. And as long as we're on Garrisons, let's also talk about Garrisons a little bit, because I think that everybody is kind of we found a couple of add-ons that work well.
Oh my God!
And I figured that we might want to talk about those a little bit.
Not just work well, but I'm pretty sure they're required at this point.
Well, Darius, why don't you tell the people what they are and what they do?
There's two add-ons. One's called Master Plan. The other one is called Garrison Mission Manager.
Yes.
And these will do so many wonderful things for you. They will. The best thing that I think these things do, and I don't remember if it's Master Plan or Garrison Mission Manager that does this, but when you go back to your Garrison table, your follower table, and you click on that, instead of having to click through every mission you've done and wait for the animation and wait to see if it passed or failed and then click on the little box and then click next, it just gives you a summary of everything that happened, and you click one button and it goes through all of them, and it automatically tells you if you passed or failed, and it hands in all your things you get and all that kind of stuff, and it takes 2 seconds. It is amazing.
Yep, and for that they get the big applause for that.
I don't know. I disagree. I like the little animation of the chest. I like it.
That's great. The first 60 times.
Right. I mean, Darius did just unlock level 3 salvage yard. So that's a lot of crates of salvage that he's got. That's a lot of missions he's been running. So I get it.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
But the other one is the glory. Go on.
It does some amazing things. It'll sort your missions or allow you to sort your missions by percentage of success, or time, or all these other things. It will tell you what followers to put into every mission and in what order, because the order you put them in matters. And it will help you to determine what are the best people or your best followers for every mission, and help you get the most success out of your missions. Because what you really should be doing once you've got enough Garrison resources is you should really be doing every mission you can to be getting, if you've got the salvage yard, to get those crates and to get as many rewards as possible. Before you go to bed or before you leave for 8 hours or whatever, assign followers to those 8-hour missions. And just even if there's a 60% chance, just do it. Just, that's still 60% chance that you get that 30 gold, but you could also get a crate or something like that. And once you get level 3, some good stuff starts dropping from those crates.
Now, hold on a minute. So in the chat room, they're saying that the order that you put the guys in the missions matters?
Yes, it does.
How so?
It's the different abilities get assigned in different ways, and that these add-ons will help you do that. They will tell you which order to put them in. And from what I was reading, one of these, I think it's Garrison Mission Manager, is the future plans are actually to auto-assign followers for you. So all you do is click on the mission and it will automatically put the 3 best in there. But it does matter. Try it out. Try swapping them around and see what happens. And you'll see that the order matters.
Now, in far as this, if that's the one, if the Garrison missions, is that the add-on Garrison Mission Manager? Is that the one that gives you the thing? This is like the greatest add-on like ever created.
Yeah, kinda.
Like that first time you like load up like Deadly Boss Mods or like, I don't know, GTFO or something where you're like, this is an add-on that like, this is fantastic. Like this will really help me out. That's what this thing is. And what it is you click on you have your list of all the missions, right? And it'll show you on the right, there'll be this little red button and it'll tell you what bonuses you will get. Like, and I'm basically I'm re-explaining what you just said, Darius, but like way more excited. Because it's unbelievable. People don't understand how incredible this is. And they'll say like 100% chance on this, and you'll get all these bonuses this. And then you click on it and you can choose different buttons like, you know, do you want this or that? It makes it so easy, and you're maximizing all of your followers with all of your missions.
Right.
And it's unbelievable. It's like great. I mean, at the end of the night, you just go boop, 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 boop. You pop them in there. You're getting the max experience points for your followers. You're getting them leveled up. You're getting the Garrison resources. You're getting the greatest chance of success in like a few clicks, and it's like, oh, it's amazing. It's like the greatest add-on ever created. Highly recommend.
It does a really good job explaining to you, if you just hover over the different abilities, why the different followers matter. You know, this follower's got ability that counters this ability, so it actually helps you understand, you know, how to use your followers in a better way, other than just blindly clicking and putting them in. Now, I know it does that. It kind of does that for you, but it gives you that information too, because most people don't know that either. That different abilities from followers actually matter in the different ways.
Well, and as you're building your garrison and as you're leveling your followers along, make sure that you scroll down the list a little bit too, because it rearranges it so that your highest chance of success is first. But make sure to scroll down your missions, because you may want one particular thing, especially if you're talking about resources. Make sure to scroll down to resources first if that's what you're after, and then make sure that those go off as best they can before moving on to the other ones, because sometimes it really does matter. So
it's kind of neat. In one of the buttons, it'll say you'll get bonus XP. Then the button below it will still say 100%, but it'll be a little like bonus resources. And then you click that button and it puts your scavenging guy with a scavenging trait, because it gives you bonus resources, in that slot. So you'll get bonus resources. So you can kind of choose what bonus you want. And it just, oh my gosh, it makes it incredible.
The only thing is that I wish that that we could actually like drop missions, especially as we're leveling it up, that we could actually just like actively drop missions. I know that after a few days, I think the new update off, right?
Of one of these, it will tell you how long that mission will likely be there. I think they updated almost last night, and it'll say, you know, this mission is a 2-day mission or whatever, and you've got 8 hours left on it before it'll disappear. Okay. But there is no way to drop them. You're right, but I haven't seen a max of them yet, though.
Yeah, I just want to be able to like drop some of those, like as I'm leveling up guys, like drop those gold missions, because I don't really, I don't really need those as I'm leveling guys up. I want to get XP. I want to get resources. That's what I want, and maybe some items for the followers, but. The gold stuff, I'm just like, it's nice.
Do those every night, because the gold missions are usually only 45-minute to an hour missions, so those are really good to get some quick XP, and to get again, and if you have the level 3 salvage yard, to get some of those salvage crates.
Well, sure, if you have a level 3,
just go out and do an hour mission while you're out questing or doing dailies or something. You come back and it's done.
Yeah, the only level 3 thing that I have right now is the mine on one of my tunes.
Yeah.
So,
right.
That's all right.
Quick, just to the 2 add-ons are called Garrison Mission Manager.
Easy for you to say.
And Master Plan. Plan. Those are the 2 names of the add-ons. And also, just a super quick tip. You're going to find yourself getting these follower enhancements, like equip a follower with an item level 630 armor or weapon, or upgrade your followers' weapons by 3 or something like that. What's actually kind of recommended, and this is up to you, you don't have to do this. What's recommended is get like your A team and gear these guys up first. Like focus on 3. Like 3 guys or 4 guys. Like these are your A guys, and get their item levels up. So once you hit level 100, you can unlock item levels for them. Equip those 3 first or 4. Get those geared up, because once their item level increases, you can send them on missions for higher item level stuff for yourself, for your own character. So they can unlock 630 weapons and stuff like that. And then also like 645 weapons and armor. So so when you get these like enhancements, to your followers, try not to just spread them around to all of your followers. Try and focus on like your A team, like and 3-4 dudes, and that's it.
And make sure to pick up the new follower, B.A. Baracus. He is a night elf mohawk.
Yeah, that's right. If he existed, that would be amazing.
I don't know why he's not in already.
I know. That's hilarious. They got Crow Man. They got everybody else. It's great.
Night elf mohawk. That's what I'm saying. All right. Also, just something. Oh, by the way, on those add-ons as well for Master Plan and for Garrison Mission Manager, you should be able to find those on Curse. Although people have been having issues with finding them on Curse through the Curse client. So you may have to go onto the website and find it instead of through
do
the
it from the
client.
website. Yeah, they update very, very frequently. They're really good about adding updates to it. So the Curse client tends to be a little bit behind.
Right. So I mean, it's just, I know that it took me probably a half dozen times before I found it on the client, but other people were not finding it on the client at all. So
gotcha.
Just be careful about that. And the other thing to be careful about is for the different traits. You know how you can change a trait, or how you can add traits, like the dance studio thing? There was some clarification this week. And where is it? Okay. So, and this is from Crypto. He says, if you use an item such as the Supreme Manual of Dance or the Hearthstone Strategy Guide, the targeted follower will gain the trait associated with the on-use item and lose a random trait, which cannot be selected or changed after the fact. So if you're using these items, if you're changing traits, they're going to lose random traits. So if you have something that you really want, like Scavenger or Bodyguard or whatever, make sure that you hold on to those guys and don't give them this random stuff on top of it. Because
I made that mistake.
Oh yeah,
I have made that mistake because it doesn't tell you in the tooltip that it removes it. So I had a really good trait on a follower, and I assigned them the dance moves, the Supreme Manual of Dance, and I ended up losing a really good trait because of it. But hey, now they can dance, so maybe
that's right.
I got the I put the dance studio thing on Bluke, on the big guy. I wanted him to dance. Got to give him some moves. So yeah.
Well, now he's on that show Dancing with Highmaul, so it's totally fine. Now they're featured there, so that's good. That's very good.
Oh man! All right, and the other thing is about headhunting. Getting if you have the in for actually searching through, getting those 3 different selections each week. Just be careful about that too, because I made the mistake of just going, oh yeah, I want to get a scavenging guy, right? So I'm like, oh, scavenging. Okay, well, I don't really like any of these guys. Maybe I can try a different trait.
Nope,
not at all. Once you make a selection, you have made a selection, and your selection cannot be unmade. So you can't just back out of it and try to start again. I made that mistake.
It's all right. It's all right, suckers.
I don't know. And then all the followers start out at 90, so you have to level those guys. But that's worth it, I think. If you get a cool one, it's all good. It's all good.
And with that add-on, it really helps you out. You get them leveled up quick.
Right. All right. I think anything else on Garrisons, guys? Any other quick tips or anything?
No, sir.
All right.
Let's get to some raiding.
All right, let's do it.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with raiding news around World of Warcraft. And first up, nothing at all is happening this week. Nothing is.
Nope.
Can't
think of a single thing.
Nope. Except for Highmaul opens this week. Yeah. Oh. Hey, after a year plus, we have a new instance to talk about. So this
I
is
almost
good.
don't know what to do.
Highmaul.
Darius, you're telling a story before we started recording the show.
I went into Highmaul last night.
What?
I snuck in.
You snuck in.
I did. I snuck in. Don't tell anybody.
What happened?
I used this new item that you get from the In Daily mission yesterday, and it was called Aviana's Feather, I think it was, and it shoots you all the way up into the kind of the limit of the skybox, so way up, and then you get 2 minutes of this free fall, this like slow free fall, like Goblin Glider kind of thing. And I used that to get up into Highmaul and get into the different areas and check it out, and walk around. And it's totally empty, except for right before the final boss. There's a couple NPCs padding that have they're level 101 plus with 3.5 million health. They're trash, and I tried to engage one, and someone figured it out, and I got ported back to the entrance.
No.
Which is a bummer. So, but I got in there, and that place is huge.
Really?
It's really big. And I don't know if it's going to be like this when it comes out, but it looks like you might be able to mount up in there and things like that. But it is a big area.
Cool.
I'm wondering if we can use this Aviana's Feather for the glider stuff in the Grand. You know how you got to use that glider to go get those resources?
You could. It's a 10-minute cooldown, and I'm positive it is going to get nerfed because you can get so many places with it. It works. Right now, it works in any dungeon that's outdoors, like Everbloom or Iron Docks or Grimrail Depot. It works in those, and when you use it, it resets whatever you're fighting. So it resets the boss or the trash or anything like that. So this thing is definitely going to get nerfed.
Wow.
Use it before you can.
Well, let's not mention it. All right? Don't
Right.
don't talk about it.
Let's not put that in the show. We'll just take
Keep that under wraps.
Right. We'll just put a lid on it. Yep.
All right.
Don't mention it. I hope nobody's listening to this.
Let's edit this part out.
Right.
Suckers.
Right. No problem. I'll just edit that right out.
All right.
Exactly. Well, we'll just pause here while we find a spot where we can actually here. Hold on a sec. All right, and we're back. Okay, great.
All right.
Perfect.
Oh,
Awesome.
fantastic. I will try that cream. I really appreciate it. Let's see how it goes.
It really helps with the burning.
Yep, it does.
Give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. Thank you.
All right. Well, but I thought we could maybe do a little bit of a rundown today of the different bosses and kind of what to expect in a broad sense. Obviously, they may have changed some of this stuff from beta, but the basic mechanics I think are there, and so we can kind of guess what's going on with these guys. But I have some music. Let me play the music. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Turn it down just a little bit. All right, let's do a little bit of a round robin here with these guys. Colt, you want to kick us off here?
Kargath Blade Fist.
Oh.
Kargath Blade Fist. This is the guy. He's got a big old blade for a fist. Well, I guess that answers that. I mean, if so he was born with that last name, so he knew from day one, well, here we go.
Right,
At some point, I'm going to lose this and be replaced with a blade.
I gotta do it.
The encounter requires that your raid deal with both Kargath and the several adds he summons in the arena stands. You're basically in this big, giant arena. There's guys up in the arena who are yelling and screaming and throwing food and tomatoes at you.
Right.
Plus, lots of things to look out for inside the arena. This fight will act essentially as an initial gear and DPS check for your raid.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good because it's the first boss.
Right.
So
It does make
Makes
sense. It does make sense.
But it's a really cool fight too, by the way, because you got to get spread out. And occasionally he'll do this like shadow step thing where he'll just go like, "Rah!" and he'll like shadow step over to one guy and do this big little AoE on this dude and then come back. And it looks awesome. The graphic looks great. So you got to make sure your raiders are kind of spread out. I think it's like 4 yards apart or something like that. And then at some point, you got to go up into the stands, DPS those ads, kill those guys, and then come back into the fray. So it looks like a really cool fight. Looks like fun.
Unless, of course, you're Method or Midwinter, because I don't think those guys, I think they went right out of the stands again during the raid race at BlizzCon. They just jumped right out of the stands and said, screw it, healers, heal us. You know?
Right.
So Let's move on to the Butcher, Darius.
So this boss is optional. It's named the Butcher, and your group will actually teleport to Tristram, and you will fight alongside Diablo. Wait,
No,
that's a different game. Sorry,
No,
That's
different.
incorrect.
That's different.
Oh.
That's different.
Completely different guy. Completely different. Completely different
Okay.
person.
So this is the Butcher. This is a single phase, single target encounter. He's an optional boss. He's one of those side bosses you don't have to do. He's kind of a patchwork encounter. There's not a whole lot going on, but it's going to put a lot of strain on tanks and healers, a lot of damage on those, and it's going to require some pretty accurate execution from DPS, being that it's a patchwork kind of fight.
Right.
Woo!
Right.
I love it. I love patchwork fights. These are my favorite. These are my favorite fights because it's a DPS chase. Like as a DPSer, this is like a meter chaser. You know, you just get to deeps, baby. This is patchwork. Kill him before he kills you. That's
right.
the best. I love those.
And he's optional, so you don't even have to do it if you don't want to. As is this next guy, Tectus. He's the living monster, the living mountain, right?
Yes.
The living mountain.
Yeah.
At the start of the fight, your raid is going to fight Tectus and a bunch of ads, of course. There's always ads. But then Tectus himself becomes ads. After you kill him, he becomes his own ads and splits into two. Then after you kill those guys, then those guys split into two. It's crazy.
Right.
So
it's he literally like becomes 2, become 4, become 6, become 8. It's
right.
Like insane.
Right.
But
And
it kind of reminds me of Morchok a little bit.
yeah, a little bit like heroic Morchok, right? And there are parts of the fight where he is unkillable. So good luck,
There we
fellas. All right, let's move on to and again, Tectus optional boss. Let's move on to Brackenspore. Colt.
Do you like shrooms? Then you'll like yourself some Brackenspore. Brackenspore is a big, giant shroom dude, mushroom guy. During this fight, your raid will fight Brackenspore as well as a few ads that he regularly spawns. There are also some ads that, under certain circumstances, benefit your raid. These are these little, like, flower spore things that are going to spawn. You're going to see a nice green one. Healers, you need to heal that spore. So this is one of those where you got to target something. Healers got to heal it up to full. When this thing hits full, it'll start like, boom, doing this big AoE heal to the raid, which is great. Now, on the opposite end, there's also going to be some bad spores that are going to spawn. DPS need to kill those things immediately. In fact, I think the green one, I think it provides like a 30% haste buff. But the coolest part of this entire encounter, you get flamethrowers.
Yeah, flamethrowers,
Yes.
man. That's really cool.
Flamethrowers.
And you can burn away the bad on the ground. It's really cool.
Yes.
That looks sweet, dude.
You're going to pick up flamethrowers and burn everything. It's going to be great.
Everything in life is better with a flamethrower.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Twin Ogron there, Darius. What's going on there?
Twin Ogrons. These are the evil twins. These guys were abused as children, and now they're pretty angry at you. These guys, it's Pol and Famos. These are the two twins. Throughout the fight, they're going to use a bunch of different abilities depending on how much energy they have. The bosses don't share health, whereas normally in this kind of fight they share health, but in this they don't. So you have to kill them near the same time. Kind of like protectors in Siege of Orgrimmar. I don't know if you guys remember that raid. It was kind of quick.
Yeah, Siege of Orgrimmar didn't last for very long.
Yeah, but it's a lot like that. So you got to kill them near each other, otherwise the other one rages. And positioning is really, really important here. The bosses have to stay kind of close to each other, but not close. Sometimes they have to stay far away. It really depends on the abilities they're using and how much damage you think you can handle.
Well, what's interesting? Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what's interesting, too, about these two bad boys is you do have to keep them somewhat close together because the farther they get apart, they gain like a haste buff and like an attack buff. So it basically negates that idea of, oh, all right, you tank this one way over to the left and we'll tank this one way over to the right. You got to keep them close together while you're DPSing them down. So it's kind of a cool thing.
It's kind of like the anti-heroic Dark Shaman strat, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
There's a lot of poo to stand in on this fight. Like there's a lot of fire to stand in. So if you're really good at standing in fire, this is going to be your fight. You will excel here.
Awesome.
There's to be a good one.
Yeah.
And the fire looks erratic. I don't understand the pattern yet of the fire. It's just like, whoa, it's just moving all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you avoid it because it just seems so random just based on the strats and the videos that I've seen. So I'm sure once you're in there, you'll see, oh, there's the pattern of the fire. But as of right now, I have no idea. You're going to get fire all over your face.
Right.
I don't know any other way to go.
Well, here's another mechanic that I don't understand, and it's the nullification barrier, and I'm gonna figure it out, But if you, this is for the next boss, Korag. I don't know. Korags. Yeah, he's Ragnaros' twin brother, Korags.
Right.
This fight requires your raid to handle ads throughout the fight, all while fighting Korag himself. Position is also very important during this encounter, and once again, it revolves around this nullification barrier, where some raiders are going to want to stand in this nullification barrier and get this buff if you can live through it. It's like
it's kind of.
Go ahead.
It's kind of a weird thing. Like he has like a frost thing that he does, and like an arcane thing, and a fire thing, and a shadow thing.
Right.
And like the frost, there's so much going on in this fight. On the frost side, you got this frost orb that's just going to be spinning around the whole time, so you got to avoid that. The fire thing is essentially a dot on all your raiders, so healers, you got to heal through that. And then I don't know if it's the shadow one or the arcane one, but there's one where there's going to be this ball of light that's going to be descending down from the sky. It's kind of like that old Blood Council thing.
Oh, yeah.
Back in Wrath of the Lich King, you remember that?
Yep.
So you got this ball that's coming down. In fact, there's going to be several of them. There's going to be like 4 of them. And you need to have your raiders like standing under it, because if it hits, I'm not exactly sure how it works. You like absorb it, but everyone doesn't take as much damage. But part of the reason you get in this nullification barrier, what happens is Korag at some point is going to like start casting this rune, this barrier thing on himself. You need to like soak up that barrier, get it up in you, and then go and soak, the orb as it falls. That's what it says in the dungeon journal. It says, get it up in you.
Get it up in you.
Don't blame me. It's in the dungeon journal. But you got to like soak up this barrier, and then you can help soak the orbs or something. It looks like a very complicated fight. A lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And this is just on like normal and heroic. I can't wait to see what this bad boy is like on Mythic, man.
Yeah.
So
I think
very cool looking fight.
all this stuff is going to be crazy on Mythic. So, oh man. And then finally we have the last boss, right, Colt?
Imperator Margok. Imperator Margok is the last boss in the Highmaul raid instance. This is a long 4-phase encounter, in addition to which there were also 2 transition phases.
Right.
Throughout the fight, Margok will use the same abilities, albeit slightly modified in each phase, and this is truly an awareness fight.
It's kind of one of those things that it will wear you down enough to the point where you're just like tired at the end, right? I mean, it's
just waiting for you to make a mistake.
Right. It's a long fight, and so you got to kind of know where you are and know what all these different abilities, how they change, so that you can react to them a little bit better. And everybody needs to know this stuff. Is my guess is that everybody's going to want to know exactly what happens. In each phase. So,
and it looks like a great like end boss for Highmaul. And there's so much about this raid that I really, really dig. The fights are very different. They're also very cool. I like the scenarios, the settings for each of them. And I got to tell you guys, I like the number of bosses.
Yeah.
There's not that many bosses. I really like that. I got to admit, man, coming from Siege and everything else with these huge wings of bosses, I'm glad that we have a shorter number, something that you can get through in a night, and you're all right, so.
Well, and especially with the new way that raiding is kind of going, with the flexibility of it, and with being able to jump in with your friends pretty much anywhere except for Mythic, right? So you can jump in anywhere really and go kill some bosses with your friends. This is really cool, and I think this is where kind of the shorter raid instance makes a lot of sense. Totally. Yeah. So very, very cool. So that is kind of our look at Highmaul. New raid. Woo! So Heroic and Normal's open this week. Next week, Mythic and LFR 1 opens up. And then LFR 2 opens up the following week, and then the last boss opens up in 2015, so we have to wait a whole year.
A whole year before the next raid fight.
We have to wait until next year to do it, so... It'll be cool. It'll be cool. I'll fade out the music here. Oh, there we go. Bye-bye, music.
Very nice.
No.
Music is totally gone, but I'll do applause.
Yeah.
It looks cool,
Finally.
man. It looks cool.
Oh,
Finally, some new bosses.
Right.
A new raid. I'm
know.
so happy. I'm so happy.
This
It almost got to the point where I was just, killing bosses in Siege of Orgrimmar. I was just like, this is my life now. This is it.
right.
This is the rest of my life.
Right.
I'm just going to be killing Siege of Orgrimmar bosses over and over again.
Yep.
And now that
Can't
this
wait.
is here, I don't know what to do.
Woo.
Go kill some new bosses, or you
Let's
can go
kill
back.
some new
You can
bosses.
go back into Siege if you want.
All right.
I'm guessing that's still an option.
You can go back into Siege. It's
You can-
always
all right.
there for you.
You can never go
Asparagus
back.
Initiative is rating World First Siege of Orgrimmar starting
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta get back in time.
Right. Also this week we saw 6.0.3 drop, and along with this new patch comes a lot of class balancing. Finally, and another big applause. 'Cause
Well, I don't know about applause.
if you play a shaman, you are very thankful for this stuff. If you play a warlock, you're fine with this, because they did make some really. If you play a warrior, obviously you're not quite as happy.
Right. And Windwalker monks, we got a slight nerf. We got a slight nerf.
Good.
Although it does look like Brewmaster got some buffs.
They
So-
did, which is good.
which is great, especially for me as a healer. Because Brewmaster was kind of squishy.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Monk is the new priest. Or, I'm sorry, mage. It's a
It's the
one-button
new
class
priest.
now. It's a one-button class now. It's you walk in and tank pulls everything, and you hit one button, and you do
No.
all of the damage,
No.
and then you sit back and you say, guys, what do you see this green meter at the top? What are you guys doing?
No,
and
no.
then
No,
everyone-
Darius.
And then you link meters in chat all the time
Yep.
after every
Yep.
pull. After every pull.
So you're telling me that for
One button.
years I've had to fight the 2-button mage thing, and now I have to fight the 1-button monk thing? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
The nice
play a
part.
real class.
The,
Oh.
the nice part is you can just get one of those foot pedals and just hit that with your foot, and you don't even have to do. You can do hands-free rating.
Yeah,
Don't-
right
yeah.
there.
Why are you backing him up, son? What are you doing?
You probably just get Siri or something and yell at your computer. Just
Oh,
yell
yeah.
GPS on, and there you go.
Hey, this is
Just
insane.
put the tank on follow, walk away, get a sandwich.
This is a disaster.
This is the best.
There's
Are you
a lot
kidding
to
me?
that Windwalker monk. Let me tell you, there's a lot going on to do it effectively.
Of
Zug,
course there is.
I'm-
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Zug,
Sure.
I'm disappointed. You backed up Darius. I'm disappointed. Come on, Zuggers.
I
Don't
did that-
fall into his trap.
I did
Don't
that
do
for
it.
the. I did that for the lols.
All right.
Of
But let's
course.
talk about
Sure.
some class changes here.
Sure.
Besides Windwalker monk, which
Right.
deserve a buff, by the way.
Right, and there were some, and I think every class got a change. So if you don't hear your class, it's not that you didn't get changes; it's just that you didn't get really awesome changes. Like some of these other classes, like Death Knights, Unholy got some good buffs with Scourge Strike and Necrosis, so that should be a little bit better. Balance got buffed a lot. I like this a lot. Ooh, I thought leveling was fun. Maybe I'll just go balance Druid. From now
Yeah,
on.
there you go.
I'll just go damage. Just do all the deeps. I don't know.
Do all the deeps.
Right. Any
Yeah,
other?
do it with your 1-button balance boomkin class.
Yes.
It's actually 2 buttons because you have to dot and then you hit Starfall and then you walk away forever.
Gotcha.
And then you
But
just
yeah, they got a
collect
buff to Starfire, Star Surge, and Starfall. That's a lot of stars.
all the stars. Balanced
Holy
druids
cow.
are seeing stars. That's
Holy
right.
cow.
And what other? I mean, we have a whole list here of
Sure.
different things. What kind of sticks out to you guys as some good ones to talk about?
They,
Go ahead.
for priests, they buffed Power Word Shield, which is what Disc priests are using almost exclusively now for heal because it's really powerful. But they nerfed again Holy Nova, which I don't understand.
Wasn't it doing
Holy-
all the things?
It was at level 90. It was not well balanced at all. It was doing a lot at level 90, but they nerfed it a lot going into Warlords, and then they nerfed it again recently, and it's all but useless at this point. It's really situational. You got to have 4 or 5 people all stacked up in order for it to work, and it's not doing a whole lot as far as healing goes. But they did buff penance, which I guess makes up for it. But I really liked using Holy Nova. I haven't used Holy Nova since Wrath. And I liked being able to just spam that thing. I think it looks cool, but nerfing it into the ground means I don't want to use it anymore, and I'm a little bummed by that.
A couple of good things. Also, speaking of monks, we talked about Brewmaster and Windwalker. Mistweaver monks got a real nice buff. Enveloping Mist, the increased healing, I believe, was by 50%.
Yeah.
5-0.
Yeah.
Enveloping Mist. So huge for Mistweavers.
Right. Exactly.
So that's great.
I think the monks needed a little bit of love.
Absolutely. All 3 specs need a little bit of love. All 3.
They still need more?
They need more love. More love.
As we were talking about with Shaman, just to kind of bring this around, for Shaman, it was Lava Burst, Chain Lightning. Those were buffed for elementals. Lava Lash and Storm Strike were buffed for enhancement. So both of those specs got some much needed balancing, I think.
Yes.
I think Shaman were kind of upset once they hit 100 and went, what?
Yeah.
I leveled what? Why?
A lot of angry. A lot of angry shaman. I got to tell you, like everyone I talked to was like, what is this? Like nobody was happy at level 100. So this is good for the shaman. They got some buffs here. Also, the mages, they got an arcane blast buff, a pyroblast damage buff, and Frostbolt got a little nerf. A little nerf for the old mages. But that's good. I'm glad because fire is a ton of fun. And they've kind of done a nice change where they've tried to decrease the RNG element of it. That stands for random number generator. Basically, your damage is not like just random. Like it decreases the chances of that you're going to be more effective as a mage. Because fire for a lot of people is so much fun to play. And it was so much fun for me to play. But there was always like a big time gear check. I needed to have a huge amount of crit to play fire effectively. So they're buffing the pyroblast damage. I've heard from some mages like, it's not really enough. But you know how people are. They always want more buffs. Just like Windwalker. More buffs for Windwalker.
No.
Yes. But yeah, mages, arcane blast buff, which is good. Pyroblast and Frostbolt. A little bit of nerf. Frost has really taken over as kind of the go-to spec for a lot of mages, which is so amazing to me because for years, Frost was simply for PvP for mages.
Right.
I mean, if you can imagine, no one ever played Frost in a PvE setting, and now it's kind of really taken over as the number one spec. So kind of interesting.
Which is why Frostbolt got nerfed.
It's I don't know if it's a glyph or what, but I've noticed that when mages are Frost, and I've seen them in dungeons, they've got these icicles floating over their heads, and it looks really cool. I kind of wish I had something for that for a priest or something. I mean, I've got the bird things, but these like really cool icicles floating over their head and it like points at the direction they're facing. Man, it looks awesome.
Just get Pepe from your Garrison. Pepe, the bird hat. Just get the bird hat
sit on my head.
And just have a bird sit on your head.
That's perfect.
That'll be perfect for you. I think for.
That's exactly what I need.
Anyway, Locks also got some love this time around. Affliction, Demonology got some pretty big buffs. It was like 20%, 30% to spells and stuff, and Destruction got like 8% buffs. So they got buffs, but just a little bit.
I know,
just a little bit.
I haven't heard a lot of anger from the Warlocks. I think it's more shock. They came into Warlords and they're like, wait a minute, what is this not on top of the meters thing? What do we do?
Right.
What happened?
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think they're just very dazed and confused. I've seen a lot of them walking around Shadow Moon Valley, just kind of casting at trees and,
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
But we love our Lock brothers. We love them. But you guys got to admit, you've been number one for years. You've been number one.
Yeah.
It's okay to be number 2 or 3 or 4 every once in a while. In fact, Warlocks too, that's another one. Destruction. That was a spec for years that was never, ever played until the buffs. I think it was in Mists of Pandaria, is when Destruction got some really nice buffs and people started really playing Destruction. I think it was in Mist.
Well, no, I remember playing Destruction Lock in Wrath.
You're kidding. Even back then?
At the end of Wrath. It was at the end of Wrath.
Really? Huh.
So yeah, I remember playing Destruction back then. I'm not sure if it was topping the deeps or anything like that, but it was.
Right, you were. I mean, it was
decent.
horrible, but you were playing Destruction.
I was playing Destruction.
terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it was at the end when everybody was geared. So I mean, we were downing bosses like crazy. So.
Or you know
anyway.
what? Forgive me, chat room. I spoke incorrectly to all of our lovely listeners out there. They're saying that Destro's played a lot in BC. That's actually true because I actually played, and I did play Destruction
Nice.
in Burning Crusade and also
Nice.
worked in Cataclysm. So my apologies. I apologize. I apologize.
There we go. So, and if you're a warrior, again, sorry.
Sorry, guys. Really sorry.
Yeah. I know.
But you're a warrior. It's all right. I know Tor Rage is raging.
Right. He's filled with rage about this. So,
He is.
Yeah. So sorry, warriors.
Right.
I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
And I know that rogues and who are we missing from here? Rogues got some changes, but like little ones. And,
Right.
I think
They've always gotten little stuff. Like rogues have been the least class messed with, I think, over the years. Really not a lot of changes for forever. Rogues. And I think it's just because Blizzard is happy with the class. They like the class. They think it plays really, really well.
Right. I was talking with Petunia, our rogue for AI.
Yes.
And he was saying, I could probably just tell you what the rotation is going to be pretty much from now until, I don't know, 2020.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's easy for the 9 rogues out there that PvE and don't PvP. It's easy to balance them. They're happy. The feedback is easy to get. They just email them directly and they say, how are you feeling?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
you just email the 9 guys directly.
Yeah. It's the ones that PvE,
Right.
The rest that PvP exclusively on their rogues, there's a lot of those. But,
Right.
Just those 9 guys. And Petunia is one of them.
Yep. Well, speaking of which, we actually have some stats from 6.0.2, actually from just before. MMO-Champion.com, they came out with some stats from their collating of different things, and they took this big, huge sample of millions of characters, and so we'll just kind of jump around this a little bit. But we were talking about class stuff, so let's talk about class representation. And it looks like from the graph that hunters are number 1, and monks are not.
Yeah, right. You see, buff monks,
Right.
clearly.
Monks and rogues are down there a little bit. They're about 6%, 6.5%, somewhere around there. And hunters are like, 12% of players represent hunters. So that's good stuff. It's kind of interesting.
I don't think this has changed. I mean, this is aside from obviously monks and death knights, this is about what it's been since almost BC. Everybody's always had a lot of hunters. There's always been a bunch of hunters.
Right.
And then everything else is pretty much balanced in between that, like 9 and 10%.
Yep. And you see like the hybrid classes, the druids, the paladins, and those types. Those guys are a little bit better represented overall, and that kind of makes sense.
It's a funny thing, man. Monks always on the bottom, least played class. In fact, even the stuff I've been doing, I get in these big Apexis dailies. Okay, so here's another quick tip, man. You get that daily for the pit, the group.
Yeah.
Just remember, in your dungeon finder, on the very bottom, it says pre-made groups. Click that.
Yeah.
Choose warlords, and there'll be a list. And I guarantee one of them in there will say farming Apexis crystals or the pit group. Join one of those. And man, I'm telling you, you'll get that daily done in like 5 minutes. Because I was that same way. I was like, oh, the pit. Now I got to get a group for the pit. I got to get everybody together. LFG, the pit group. And I realized, wait a minute. In fact, I think it was Darius that mentioned it. Just go into that pre-made group. There's groups already rolling. And now when I get it, now I'm excited. I'm like, oh, sweet, it's the pit. That's an easy 1,000 Apexis crystals. So just remember that pre-made group. But the point of what I was saying was, when I'm in that, I'm the only monk. I'm like the only one. And when I'm in these 5-mans, it's just me. The majority of all the people I see in these big raids, it's just like me. It's just one monk. Guys, I'm telling you, play a monk. It's unbelievable. It's great.
I think a lot of what it is, though, is you've got, for all these other classes except Death Knight and Monk, you've had 10 years of people playing them and alts and things like that. Death Knights, you're gonna have more because they've been out longer, but you also get a free 55 when you make it. you skip all that stuff. Monks don't have that, so I think monks are always going to be at the bottom because of that. Although they are pretty close to rogues, but again, not a whole lot of rogues doing PvE.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I mean, that seems a little bizarre to me, but whatever.
No love for the rogues,
I guess.
I think that they should buff Windwalker damage, and then we'll get more monks. I think that's the way to do it.
Is that the way to do it?
Clearly.
Right.
Clearly.
I heard the next patch notes are just taking all of the buttons out except one, just to make it really easy so people don't get confused.
All right, this is starting another battle. We're going to have another war. I can already tell on this season of CTR that we're going to have a battle between Darius and I. Quick thing, too. Some people are saying in the raid that you can't get Apexis crystals when you're joining those big raid groups. I find that to be incorrect. I did it just last night. You have to loot. You have to actually click on the mobs, and you will get your Apexis crystals just killing the mobs in general. Not just daily.
There are a few groups that will, and you got to check when you get in there, where the raid leader will set it to like master looter, and they will take everything. They will take the BOEs that drop and everything else. So just make sure it's on like personal loot or need before greed or something like that. Yeah, you just watch out for those things. Because I was in a group not too long ago where 2 purple BOEs dropped, and the raid leader took both of them and just said, "Oh, I'm raid leader." There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, be careful. I saw a couple of tweets about that too. Is that they join this group and then forever they're like, "Well, there's no nothing here," and then it's on Master Looter, and that guy who's leading the group is like, he's getting everything.
But so extra crystals definitely do drop. Greens drop. I've even seen purples drop, so they do drop
too.
In there.
I was getting primals
lots of primals. Yeah.
Some are saying in the chat room you don't get them. I was getting primals as well. Just make sure, but you have to right click on the mobs and loot. So if you get those little bag icons, I don't want to say what else they look like. If you get those, right click on them, you'll get those Apexis and the primals.
Oh man.
I don't know what you're thinking about. It might have to do with this the new Artcraft update though.
Svensson in CTR says Colt vs. Darius, the Rumble and 10 in Jungle.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I love it. Tanan.
We have some other stats just to keep this moving along. Percentage of players actually completing Proving Grounds achievements. Okay. So now this one gets a little bit more involved. They do a little bit deeper deal a little bit later on. But just overall, the people that are completing bronze is like 50% of players, a little bit over that. Silver, only like 30, 2%?
30, yeah.
Are completing silver at all. And I'm kind of
This was MOP. This isn't now. These are people that completed it in MOP.
Oh, is it? No, it's supposed to be before patch 6.0.2 went live.
Yes. So this is not Warlords data.
It includes that as well.
It's not Warlords data.
Okay.
Because Warlords is Warlords is 6 is this is right up until 6.02 went live, and that's Warlords. So
we should be seeing a significant bump in silver.
Yes, over the next few months when more people get to 100 and they start queuing for randoms, you'll see that silver number go up. Agreed.
All right.
I don't know. This sounds like Pat versus Darius. It's going down in Auchendown. No, that doesn't make sense. Auchendoon.
It's Auchendoon.
Get ready to swoon in Auchendoon.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense either.
That makes no sense.
It's going to be a ball full of doom in Auchendoon. No, that's terrible. All right, I'm moving on.
Work on it a little bit. We'll come back next week.
I'm going to work on that. You got it. I'll have something ready. It's not as good as Tanan Jungle. That's great.
Oh, man. And then in the last one, it's the last little graphic shows DPS versus heals versus tanks. The people that are completing those. And of course, most of it is DPS.
I double checked. 6.02 is the Iron Horde invasion. That's the pre-Warlords patch. So this is all pre-Warlords.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
we should. So this is a good base for when we get going with the other stuff.
Yeah. So in MOP, you saw about 55% of people complete bronze.
Right.
And then it significantly dropped from there.
So where do you think it's going to go then, Darius? Because of all the gating that's needed to run heroic dungeons and so forth.
Oh, I mean, you'll see bronze be close to 100%. You'll be silver be close to 100%. Gold will probably be a whole lot higher. People get in there and they say, well, I got bronze and silver, I might as well go for gold. Which is good. Everybody's going to need silver in order to queue for the random dungeon tool.
Right.
And everybody's needs that right now.
Here's what I did. I went, I've got silver. I'm out later.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I'm cleared to heal in heroic dungeons. Great.
Exactly.
I'm out.
Peace out.
And it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty easy. Doing it again, it was fine. It was as I remembered it.
I went and finished it I went and finished it on DPS and heals. Then I was still there. I was like, well, I might as well try the tanking one. So I tried to tank on my priest, and I got all the way to the final wave, and I couldn't finish it. The changes they made to void tendrils are too weak, so I couldn't finish it. But that's what I did the opposite. I was like, well, I might as well tank as well. Unfortunately, the tool doesn't let me queue as a tank.
It's kind of funny though, because the stats show that hunters were doing and warlocks were doing some of the tanking.
Yes.
Proving grounds, which is great.
Sure.
I like that a lot. I don't know how far they got, but they were doing it, so that's good. Now let's talk a little bit about the Artcraft thing that came out this week.
Boy.
And Blood Elf and the Blood Elf update. It's finally out, so yay!
Yes.
Now we play Alliance, so we don't necessarily care too much. But I was Horde for a long time, so this is kind of cool to see these guys. There's been some criticisms, of course, and Coltrane
and some praise.
And right, and I think you probably got in trouble at work again this week.
I may have had it up, and someone may have walked by and noticed I was looking at a Blood Elf tushy.
Right.
And went, what is that? And I'm like, oh, like it was a nice, wonderful emergency at work.
Yeah.
Now there's, around the office, I got to hear it from everyone for the rest of the day.
Right.
I just don't know why they have to be in their underwear. Why do they have to be in their underwear?
At least these guys have fancy underwear.
I guess
it's red with a gold little twirly thing on it.
I get it, but I'm just scrolling down on a website and there it is, and everyone behind me is instantly judging me based on me looking at underwear on a Blood Elf.
Well,
anyway,
and really, these changes are really all about the butts. Right. Seriously, they gave them some implants or something.
Yes.
And
there's no treble on this one. Right. It's all about the butts.
And when you're describing the butts, you don't want to hold your hands out in a grasping fashion and be like, oh, those butts. You don't want to do that.
That's no good. That's not going to go well, especially at work.
No.
That's like a really bad
I'm just checking out the butts as you reach out to try to... No, that's not good.
No. But it was a definite... I mean, they look great. They look really, really good.
Yeah.
There was some criticism on the face, the female Blood Elf face.
Yeah.
They looked a little long in the tooth.
Right, right. A little horsish.
A little horsey. A little
Julia Roberts.
So mean. I have feelings too, guys.
Terrible.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
That's right.
Here's my thought on that. You know what? Maybe they're not supposed to look. Maybe they're supposed to look like that. Maybe that was the original concept, but it just didn't happen for whatever reason. And now they're able to correct that. Maybe they should look a little bit different because they're not human.
Well,
what?
yeah,
they're elves.
I know. Well, somebody fixed it. I saw a tweeter. They're like, just take the chin and move the chin up and all that. And then I got to admit, it actually looked really great.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's just a little long. You gotta put that.
put that chin up a little bit, and we'll be
chin lift, chin lift, and be good to go.
Yeah, yeah. So I know that people that play Blood Elves are a little, whatever. And it kind of looks like they made a male version of a Blood Elf, which is again strange.
Right.
I'm not used to that at all.
Seeing male Blood Elves at all. I agree.
I didn't even know,
weird.
I didn't even know they existed.
Right.
But
it must be with the new expansion. They introduced a new
they're new
race,
new
the
gender.
Male Blood Elf.
Yeah.
Right. New gender.
That's craziness. All right.
Weirdest thing ever.
The worst.
All right. Well, let's get to some questions.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have a question about anything for us about raiding or anything else, let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com or call our raid line at 612-787-RAID. And first up, we have one from the tweeter. Don't we, Coltrane?
Oh, yes, we do. This is from Rucka at Convert to Raid. Have you guys done any CMs yet? Any challenge modes? If you have, what is your opinion on their difficulty? Especially, how much do you not enjoy Upper Blackrock Spire?
And we kind of covered that a little bit, right? I mean, we covered that at the Ubers part or the Ubbers, depending on your...
It is like having a hot dog eating champion fart in your face.
Right.
That is Uber.
Now, Colt, have you done other challenge modes at all?
No, that was actually my very first challenge mode. And I got to tell you, I don't want to do them anymore. But I've been hearing that they're a lot easier.
Right. I just don't...
Like other ones.
I just don't think... I mean, from what I'm hearing about loot, it just doesn't sound like thrilling, you know?
Well, I mean, you have a chance to get, like, I got like a heroic Warforged piece.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it had mastery all over it.
Right.
You know, so you do have a chance. And I have seen like a couple of Windwalkers calligraphy in Temerity. She's like fully decked out in like 645, 650, all this like crazy gear. And that's straight from challenge modes. So she's been doing great. So I think that the gear is great. It just depends on what challenge mode you get, depending on how easy it is. You know, my Upper Blackrock Spire, like I said, that was almost 4 hours. Right. In my opinion, not really worth it for one random item. But if you got a good group going and it's a little bit easier one maybe, and you can just churn these things out, no problem, then it's great.
Right. And Torage is actually in the chat room, and he says their difficulty is awesome. Just give us something other than Ubers for 5 days in a row.
Right.
Stop doing that, and we'll be okay.
Right. I even saw a tweet. Someone's like, "You realize it's not random. They're chosen for the week." And everyone's like, "Oh, Blizzard!" I'm like, I think it's random. I don't know.
Oh, wouldn't that be horrible if it was for the entire week?
Right. They're like, give them Uber.
It's a daily for the week.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know.
But it's difficult. It really is. It's really hard. So, but I know a lot of people that really like them and they really like that challenge.
Yep.
And I do as well. But you know, coming up on 4 hours, it's a little rough. It's got some hair on
for
it.
one piece of gear. That's a little rough. Yeah, for sure. Darius, do you want to get the next question, please?
So this is from Jagura. Jagura from Laughing Skull US. Says, what are your thoughts on the reputation grinds and dailies and warlords, especially the Apexis Crystal Gathering? Do you think it's on the level of Mop Dailies and Shoho Rep, or are they more forgiving?
Let's talk about the daily grind a little bit. And you know, I kind of jokingly said it was Warlords of Daily Chores earlier, and I will stick with that because it is kind of that way. But I don't know. Coltrane, what do you think about that versus, say, the 5.0, was it 5.0 or 5.1 dailies? What do you think?
Right. Compared to like at the start of Mists and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is a ridiculously huge improvement on dailies and rep grinds and everything, for the simple fact that, you know, in that in Ashran, you got the little guys with all the different factions, right? You can right click on them, and I'm used to clicking on these guys and seeing all this gear that I need this rep to get and I need all this stuff for, and there's no gear on them. It's like, oh, a follower, or like, oh, here's a cute little text message that I just received. You get all these, like, you know, it's like fun and like toys and like little things like that. Like, I don't at all feel the pressure of the grind. I don't feel like, oh, I got to grind out these dailies and I got to get this rep up so I can get this gear so I can blah, blah, blah. Now, there is naturally a sense of, like you said, the chores, right? Because you got this garrison stuff because you want to be effective with your garrison. But there's not that like requirement, you know, that huge, to me, I don't feel that huge pressure that, hey, if I skip it. And also another thing with these work orders, I can pick them up every 3 days. You know, I can queue up all of these little work orders and they're just doing their thing. So I don't have to even go to my garrison or whatever. They're just doing their thing, pick up the work orders 3-4 days later. It's great.
Yeah. Darius, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like this is a vast improvement. The only really thing I have to leave my garrison for, aside from the dungeons, but I can even queue, my garrison for that is the Apexis Crystal daily, but that's so fast with that dungeon tool, that pre-made tool that Blizzard added. That goes by so quick. And then you've got your mine and your herb farm, but those are so quick and mindless. You're not really killing anything. Every once in a while, a random mob spawns, but you're just clicking on stuff, so you can do that while watching something else or talking on the phone or doing whatever. It's just so it's quick. It's not like in MoP where you were traveling all over Pandaria trying to do these dailies and kill things, and you had to pay attention and whatnot. It's so fast. And as far as reputation grinds, I haven't had to do any of those. I haven't felt like I needed to do any of those for any reason. I see the rep coming through, and I know that it's there, but I haven't felt the need to do it yet. Once we get in, and I probably start getting bored with things, and I want some things from these reps, some of the pets they give out or mounts and whatnot, I'll probably do them, but I don't feel the need to do them right now. It's not like it was in MoP. They've really done an amazing job here.
I actually find myself wanting to do them. Is that wrong? I actually find myself logging in specifically to do, all the follower stuff, get all the missions going, collect all the stuff. Like, I'm excited, like at the beginning of each day, to go do mining, because I know that I have to do, that I should do all of my daily cooldowns for my different professions, but and everything else is okay, and I'm not dreading it like before. And I think part of the reason is that there are no blue exclamation points, that like all of those blue exclamation points that we had to go click on the guy, accept the mission, go out and do the 5 things that he wanted us to do, and then come back and hit the question mark, and then get the next exclamation point, and then that takes you to the next place where more dailies have spawned because you've hit the daily overload, whatever it was. And then you go and do more, 3 other things over there with different guys and blah, blah, blah. No, you're just doing it seems more like you're just kind of doing your thing.
Yeah.
You're just doing the daily thing, which is okay. You don't have to go around, click on guys and blah, blah, blah. I hear some people in the chat room say, but you don't get as much gold. Well, you can. If you work your professions right, you can work the auction house a little bit. So that's all good. That's okay.
There's so many mats, and like I never feel like I have to farm things. I've got so much ore and so many herbs and things like that on my tunes from all these garrisons. It relieves a lot of that pressure of having to go to the auction house and having to buy all these things just to get your flasks and get raid ready. It's I just wish they would fix enchanting.
I wish they would fish. That fishing would not be a requirement for some of these things, though.
Oh,
because my fishing is at like 240, blah blah blah, whatever it is. I'm just way behind on all that stuff. I'm like, fishing is a thing now? Oh no!
It's interesting. Jostra in the chat room says, having any garrison stuff being included in prepping for raids will always feel grindy and a hassle. So I guess when he's talking about stuff that's prepping for raids, would that be like level 3 barn so you can get the savage blood to craft the epics? Or maybe the dwarven bunker or the war mill or whatever, the one where you upgrade it to level 3 and then you get an extra token for a bonus roll? Because I'm trying to think what part of Garrison helps you prep for raids? What do you guys think?
There's always something at the beginning of expansion to help you prep for raids. There's farming this or farming that or doing whatever. And Garrisons are just that this time. So it's getting things to level 3. It's maybe getting the salvage yard, hoping you get some loot out of that. It's maybe using the stables so you can get the mats, or I think it's the stables is where it allows you to trap things.
Right.
So you can maybe get the barn, right? So you can get the feasts. It's these little things that are going to help you just be more prepared on day one.
Right.
But 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, a lot of those things aren't going to matter anymore. You're going to be in full purples and you're not going to need those little boosts. There still will be a few things like the feasts and the extra bonus rolls and things like that. But for the most part, this stuff is going to go away. But it's always been like that for every expansion, for every raid tier.
Well, and the thing that I like about it is that there's no competition for all the Garrison stuff. I mean, there's no real competition. You're not fighting over nodes or anything like that. You're just doing your thing. And so again, it's kind of this pressure-free environment that they've kind of made with these garrisons, and I think that is really cool. I'm kind of enjoying that.
This is the choice we make as raiders,
Right.
and as raiding at this level, we make this choice. Blizzard isn't saying you have to do this.
Right.
We're making this choice. We've always made this choice in every expansion when we do this to be the best we can for the first raid. So none of it feels. If you feel like you have to do it, but you're not raiding or not doing it, you might be mistaken. You don't have to do it. You can do it at your own speed.
Right.
You can do what you want, whatever you want.
Right.
We're making this choice to do this like this.
But I would say, just to go back to what Zug was saying, imagine what it was like in 5.0 or at the start of Mist, where your prep for the raid was those dailies, and then it unlocks another area of dailies,
Right.
which then unlocks another area of dailies, and that's good for that rep. Now you got to start the other rep.
Oh, the other rep! Oh,
You know what I mean?
It's the
So,
other rep! Oh.
If you're comparing the two, which is what this original question was, I think it's a lot less grindier now than it was at the start of Mist of Pandaria.
It feels more natural too, and I think that Blizzard has done a lot of really awesome things for this expansion, from leveling to the daily grind leading up to the raids, and now we are getting ready for the raids to open this week. It's a very exciting time, and I'm hoping that everything from here on out remains as good as it has been. They have set the bar even higher than before, and I am just so looking forward to the rest of this expansion, see what happens. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
It's pretty just cool. Done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Just an amazing job.
So good on you, Blizz. Woo! All right, we got to get out of here. But before we do, let's do a little 5-star action, Darius.
Yes.
What do we got for 5 stars this week on iTunes?
I'm busy dancing. Leave me alone.
Okay. All right.
It's we've got AKA Mix Z. We've got JR Dreadum. Maybe? I don't.
Yeah.
Dreadum.
Yeah. And Eben Fang.
All right. Awesome. Woo. Well, thank you guys for the 5-star reviews. Any shout outs this week?
I do. I have a shout out. This was an individual. I was in Blood Maul Slag Mines, and I was running around, and then all of a sudden he said, "Wait, are you Coltrane?" And I said, yeah. I was on Wakfu, and we were in Blood Maul Slag Mines. So a big shout out to Zubrun, Zubrun. He was a dwarf. He was an awesome tank. He's from Wormrest Accord, and we did a little heroic Blood Maul Slag Mines in there, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great run, so big shout out to him. Thank you for listening to the show. It was great.
Cool. And I know that I want to give again a shout out to the unnamed person in our Molten Core run who is from a different area that helped us complete the raid and have me get all my stuff for killing rags. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love that a lot. All right, I think that is gonna do it for shout outs, right? All right. And we cannot do this show without you guys, so thank you for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for all the questions this week. And please feel free to join in on all the conversations we're having at any time. And I'm gonna make Darius stop dancing by bailing on the music.
Oh, good. I was waiting for it. I thought, is he not gonna bail?
No, of course I'm gonna
bail. Are we
bail
gonna keep rocking and rolling?
I gotta bail out. That's the way it goes. And then
I'm gonna bail him.
And then I'm gonna play this one, the slow roller.
Ooh,
right there.
Yeah.
Ooh. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid, or even individually, right, Colt?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Darius at Board Mine.
There we go. Oh my gosh, those glasses.
You got it, Daddy-O. You got it.
Those glasses.
Ooh.
Oh, they're so ridiculous. All right.
Oh, yes.
Make sure to join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, tons of links for raiders, videos, all that sort of stuff. If you go to the front page, you'll see the videos first. Right underneath that, all the audio stuff. And then underneath that, all the links. And then we also have all the guild stuff over there. So much stuff over at converttoraid.com. Our live feed and video show is also on GameBreaker.tv. Please make sure to watch, like, comment, subscribe, all those kind of YouTube-y things. And our audio show, everywhere. Literally everywhere.
It's on the internet.
Thank you.
If you go to the internet,
that's going to be a new thing, I think. for our show. That's gonna be the thing that has to happen. Is you have to say that every time. All right.
That's right. It's been around since I was in Classic and Vanilla. I don't know if you guys knew that.
There it is.
The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out our friends at signalsmedia.com as well. That's gonna be it for the show. I had a blast. I hope you guys had fun because that was great. I enjoyed the heck out of that one.
Absolutely. It was fun. It's a good time.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody out there, and we'll see you next week at our regular time, 11 a.m. Central, for all the guys that Convert to Raid. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Yay, we're off. Woo! We're done with the show.